which body shaming hinders on your self-esteem, which causes sort of trauma that registers in your brain that, when people see you, so you find somebody's always conscious about how they're dressed, how they're looking
for acceptance,
and it's looking for acceptance continuously. Like even if they wear something, they're like, but how do you think I look? It's okay.
How's my feeling?
You know, did you see how that person was looking at me? Yeah.
What's up, what's good and what's bad, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Z Voices of the Youths, a podcast that amplifies. Yeah, we're back again with another episode. If you are joining us for the first time, make sure you do subscribe. Click on that subscribe button, and one thing we can promise you is that it's actually free. Somebody PD sakutinga subscribe, so I don't even know why some of you imavutya kutinga che button. But anyways, if you get filled, bakudi PD call us on 1111. Without wasting much of your time, allow us to get into today's episode, which is gonna be a bit different. We're talking about serious issues that have been affecting almost everyone. So we're talking about mental health today, and I'm joined by two amazing, beautiful ladies, souls, Nefia, Shara, and Fimbi. I'll allow them to introduce themselves because I might forget some of the stuff, but I know one of them is a very, at least, famous muntu. She's maybe mnamuona kwa chako modeling in Nefia. She was Miss Face of Nature the time I got to know her, but I'm sure she's got other positions and she'll make sure to mention some of those in her introduction. Ladies, I don't know who's starting first.
My name is Mwaka I'm back again on the second episode. We're talking about mental health. I am former Miss Face of Nature Zambia 2022, currently Miss Tourism Ambassador Zambia 2023 to 2024. And yeah, just back to talk about social issues such as mental health that affect us as youths and the world at large. Yeah,
cool. Thank you very much.
And my name is Kashimbi. I am a Breaking Barriers facilitator.
Yeah.
Cool. You guys look alike, Imchan.
Of course, we're sisters.
Oh, serious.
We're just friends.
But we say we're friends, yeah.
I didn't know that you were sisters. So no one ever doing a parana.
No, we're sisters.
Okay, that's cool. So let's get into it. So the first question should be, what is mental health? Let's, I think, start with the definition because some of us don't even know what it means. This is what mental and health. So can someone break it down for us?
I think last time in the really what mental health was, but just to do a recap, from my understanding, I would say mental health is the well-being, the mental state or the well-being of a person being sane and having that positive energy to drive and work or thrive at anything that they get onto. That's my understanding of having a healthy mental health state.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you?
I would say mental health is just being okay mentally, physically. I know when you say mental health, most people think it's the brain. It's also like physically,
So everything combined.
Yeah.
Okay. So on that note, having us define what mental health is, so maybe could we give practical scenarios of like what mental health is really? So in as much as we've defined what it is, but then like how do you know that this person is going through mental health, or how does one know that they're going through this mental health?
No, after I went through the breaking barriers facilitation, training and healing process, I did get to know and see or point or spot a person when they are going through mental health or when they have gone through a sort of a trauma in their life that has affected them. And I can tell by how a person or how us people respond to certain situations that life throws at us.
Yeah.
So for instance, maybe I used to be bullied at school, and I go now into a workspace environment, and there the competition is obviously high. You need to prove yourself that, okay, you're worthy of that job that you've been given and all that. And sometimes it comes easy for other people, but it's sort of hard for somebody that has gone through a sort of trauma where you used to be bullied, used to be talked down on. So it triggers certain emotions. Find that in a workspace they give you a task and all that, and maybe you are up there presenting, and maybe somebody passes a comment among your colleagues. So you start thinking the same. Did I do something wrong? To trigger all those emotions that you used to feel like you're not worthy enough to even stand in front of those people. But meanwhile, it's life and everybody can make a mistake, and we learn and grow and unlearn things as we go as a process. So yeah.
Okay. Kashimbi?
I don't think other people know that they're going through, like, maybe let's say mental health, because you said how do people know, right? So I don't think other people know. Personally, I didn't know that I was traumatized by certain events that happened in my life.
Right.
Before, like, going through the breaking barriers thing, I had no idea. So I feel like it's a process. It's getting to know yourself, to know that the reason I react this way is because of so and so. So
yeah. And also just to add on, when I was going through there's one activity that we did in Breaking Barriers where we were given a box, and the box represented us as a being, like you as a being, like you're a vessel. So now there are certain attributes that a person needs to thrive in life at anything that they do. And going back to mental health, that is very, very cardinal, because there are things that to do with love. You need love.
Yeah.
You need what is it called? Singularity.
Yeah.
What other elements?
Self-esteem.
Self-esteem. All those value. You need to feel valued. You need God. So if a person is lacking any one of those elements, meaning they have gone through a sort of a trauma, or maybe they didn't have that in their life, which also triggered certain things that trigger their emotions, trigger their mental health, and their health in general. So
That's okay. Well noted. So before I even ask this question, so I forgot to mention that we are by Keg. Is it Keg and Lion?
Yeah. Keg and Lion.
Yeah, so we're by Keg and Lion in Chongwe.
Waterfalls
Niko Chongwe kuno.
Yeah, on your way to Chongwe.
On your way to Chongwe, yeah, but Waterfalls more. So make sure you do check out the place. I'm sure it's well known. So if you haven't been here, it's actually chill. Dunga bwele na gero yako. All family sema bochiri ngako.
Family time.
Yeah, family time. It's actually a very chilled place. Sunga freno enda, unga freno gona kwe kuno. But yeah, do make sure that you check them out, follow them for more to see what they offer. Yeah, so back to the question. I wanted to ask, so for those elements that you've mentioned, what do you think, maybe it could be two or one element that you think most people that go through mental health lack? Which one is lacking the most? Is it love? Is it support and all that?
I wouldn't put it as one of the most. I think
the common one.
Every element is very, very important. It plays, that's why a person should have all that. This is why you find people seeking, maybe I get into a relationship and I lack love from where I come from, maybe even from my home. I wasn't shown that love, I wasn't shown that value. I'll start to look for value in people. I'll start to look for love in my spouse, and maybe they also went through sort of a trauma, so they don't know how to reciprocate that, and I also don't know how to communicate that. So now this is where you have all these broken relationships, toxic environments in a relationship, in a friendship, in family, because that space is already, there's something that's missing. So every element is important, and it differs according to each and every person, because we're all unique and we're different. So you could have maybe, let's say, singularity, you have that missing. I could have God missing, she could have value missing. And that will affect us in different ways, because she doesn't have that value. Even when she goes out there, she'll always want to try to do the most just to feel valued, just to gain that affirmation from people. I don't have that love, so even me giving it out would be like, I don't believe in love, or I don't see even the need of it. So people understand or receive it differently, and also the way they respond to situations, you can tell that, okay, there's this thing missing in this person. So every
how do you know that
element,
this thing is missing?
How do you can spot it by how the main thing is you can spot it by how they respond to a situation. If I come to let's say if you come to me and you tell me I love you, as a friend, as a sister, or even let's say even as a spouse. And maybe I don't even know how to say I love you back. I'll just be like, okay, because I'll create an environment where it becomes weird or awkward. You understand? Because I'm not used to hearing somebody tell me I love you, or I see you, I value you, all those things. So even when it comes to going back to God, if I have God listening me and somebody comes to me and they're preaching the word, they're telling me the gospel, I'll be like, I feel like that person is rebuking me in a sense, because I don't know who this God is. I don't understand exactly what they're coming at me. So, and maybe sometimes, we've always known God as a father. And maybe you had a father figure missing in your life at a point, like maybe growing up, you've just never known your dad or in a situation like that. Even when I come to you and say, there's a God that loves, like he is your father, you can take him as your father, you'll be like, no. In your mind, you have received it as every father is one that would abandon you. So even if you run to God, it's like, immediately you create that wall and say, I don't want to know about any father, any God that, would come and heal these wounds and whatnot, because they always bring these peaks. So, yeah.
Okay. Wow, knowledge is flowing. It is flow. So, Manje, would we say, okay, you said, let's say if something is missing, you've never heard, okay, maybe you have, but then you're not used to someone telling you I love you and stuff like that. So if I was to tell you I love you, like, how hard is it for you maybe to mention the fact that you've never had anyone mention that to you? Because maybe others will just keep it to themselves, and maybe you'll give me a type of look, or there's just a way that you're gonna react. But then I want to know, say that this is what you went through. You don't have people telling you I love you. So how do you resolve that? Like, how would you tell me?
For starters, I think it's very hard for people to open up in every situation. If you're going through something, I think not in every situation, in most situations, it's difficult for people to open up and just tell you how they're feeling or whatever they're going through. We have to create a safe space, a safe environment for somebody to respond and say, you know what, I'm going through hell, like life has been, so hard at me, I lost this, people don't treat me right, I don't feel like I'm loved. It takes time.
Yeah.
So you have to create a safe space where somebody can come and open up to you. They don't feel judged. They don't feel like you're preaching to them. They also don't feel like you're forcing them to talk, and also that you won't go out there and spew their news and spew whatever they're going through. Because most people tend to, I can confide in somebody and the next thing I'm hearing, or I'm having people look at me funny because they've read something about Mwaka. You don't even know what really happened, but people are just there, and you're like, something is obviously fishy. So you start getting all these insecurities. This is how many insecurities come about.
Yeah.
I mean, I've grown up as a small person, so people would be like, passing these comments, you're skinny and whatnot. But I've always loved my body. I've always been confident in who I am. So I didn't lack that. So even if somebody threw something at me and says, oh, you're too skinny or what, I'll be like, yo, I'm cool because I love my body like that.
Yeah, and I think let's dwell a bit on that one. Body shaming, I think it's one of the common stuff that I've noticed.
Yes.
You hear, in the way you're fat, you're this. So how does one deal with this? You know what I mean? Like body shaming and all that. Like, what does it take for one to just really accept themselves?
So, body shaming. I think it falls back to that element in the box again as a person, which body shaming hinders on your self-esteem, which causes sort of trauma that registers in your brain that, when people see you, so you find somebody's always conscious about how they're dressed, how they're looking
for acceptance,
and it's looking for acceptance continuously. Like even if they wear something, they're like, but how do you think I look? It's okay.
Was I feeling
How's my stomach? Did you see how that person was looking at me? Yes, there are people who are insecure about their arms because somebody has told them you've got big hands.
They are behind.
Yes, but
But honestly, I think most body shaming is mostly to do with girls. Guys don't really talk about it.
Yeah.
Maybe they do go
but
through
you guys
it, but
go
they
through
don't
so much.
talk about it.
The ladies actually go through body shaming more than the men.
Because
I should say that.
putting behind it,
because they're like,
almost
a woman.
everything.
Some people will be like, I've heard people say an African woman should have, a thick behind and a slim waist and all that. And then you're wondering, and you look at yourself, you're like, okay, I am this person who is slim or skinny, they should say, but I mean, it is what it is.
It is what
so, body shaming is very bad, and it does hinder a person's mental health and esteem, which is the element that you need. One of the elements you need to be whole, and to thrive at anything that you do.
Exactly.
So
does one need to really strive to be accepted by men?
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
Like
I
think that's
where people go wrong.
Yeah.
You're supposed to accept yourself first, so that you know where you stand, you know your value, you know who you are, and that the way I look is my problem, not everyone else's. If they don't like it,
that's their own.
That's their
own
own
problem.
Yes.
Because the thing is, you can't please everyone. That's the thing. You know what I mean? Like, I would go to this place, if people accept me for that, then I'll go to the other another place, and people won't receive me like those guys. You get?
Yeah. And
It's like how they say
be loved
beauty
by everyone.
lies in the beholder. Why is it?
Yes.
Could you maybe a beautiful winner sazaona beautiful. So you can't cater for everyone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is that chama mask yangati masajari
Then
yangati.
manje paja, you start being a fake person because you're trying to please others. This is why I've learned to understand how certain people react.
Yeah.
Because back then when I see somebody drinking or dressing a certain way, I would be like, why is this person, like maybe I would even go and be judgmental. But now I don't even judge when I see a person, like I'm not one to say, ish, have you seen that? Because I know for them to get to that point, they've gone through a certain trauma that has triggered them to be that way.
Yeah.
And for somebody to unlock them to open up really what's their story, they have to create a safe space for them to be able to say, you know what, I didn't have a mom to tell me you have to dress like this as a female.
Yeah.
I went through this and that, so this is why I'm okay with like this.
Yeah.
So
okay, let's bring it back to let me ask this. So have you ever done anything to yourself, to your body, just to fit you?
no.
Like at some point?
At no point in my life have I ever tried to gain weight, tried to go on these diets, tried to do any artificial things or crazy, because my friends, for me, I've always believed there was no peer pressure existing. Because people would be like, oh no, there's peer pressure. My friend told me, no, let's go drink, and I went to drink. And I know people have gone through different, and maybe I didn't lack that. I was grounded in myself, in who I was. So it didn't affect me in any way. When somebody throws and says, your body is this or what, I never felt insecure. I only didn't like I mostly like wearing loose clothes because I didn't like the attention of people, looking at me and saying, your body throwing shade. But otherwise, never at one point did I should do anything to my body or my skin.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did.
Uh-huh.
In high school, I went to a high school that was mostly white people.
Yeah.
Like mixed,
Mixed, international.
international.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wako Nigeria, wako Zambia,
Yeah.
Malawi.
Yeah, and in my class I was the darkest girl, and I was small. And I honestly didn't think I was small until someone said, you're actually so small. You're actually, and I started thinking to myself,
Actually
like,
so
wait, am I actually small? And then, like,
So
I've
they
never
didn't
actually
know it.
had an urge to gain weight.
Yeah.
Like, I've always loved my body, but like, that thing of start thinking, no,
Maybe it is small.
yeah, maybe it is small. And then there was the color thing, because
Yeah.
I was the darkest girl
Right.
in my class. And then, in high school, you want the boys to like you, they want one. And so no one used to actually like me. I was like, should I bleach my skin? Should
Caroline.
I start? Yeah. So there's a point I never actually liked myself,
Yeah.
which I regret now. Because, I'm popping. I love
You're
my
popping.
color.
And that's true.
Yeah,
I
dark
went
melanin.
through that a lot in high school, where the guys, and I used to be bullied a lot. Our class majority were like 45, 48. We only had 8 girls.
Yeah.
So the guys would always, I was one of like the boys, and they would always bully me. And I felt like, I lacked in something, but never did I want to change my body. But I just always felt insecure in it of a sort, but never.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, okay, that one was even me, like back in high school. Yeah, magayi che benzo chayilira mafuta.
Yo Zola.
Taba che guys abwera team we
Yeah.
aoneka che white.
Yeah.
Bwanje wa guy. Yeah, but there's a lot that we went through. So at the end of the day, it takes a lot for one to really accept themselves, and it's also about, I think ultimately it's just about you. Uma is here, right?
The foundation. Let's back it up
should-
to the foundation. It's about the foundation that you have. Is it a solid foundation? And if it's not, you can still start from scratch and lay that foundation. start, you can take part even in this breaking barriers. I always recommend breaking barriers because it's changed my life so much. It helped me spot out things that I was missing, elements that I was missing, and work on them. And it's a gradual process of healing. So you learn every day and learn and choose to put yourself first. So you're choosing to put value, you're choosing to put love. You have to love yourself before you even show love to somebody else, because you can't love somebody if you're empty.
If you're empty. And in my relationship, let's even tackle that one. My relationships nowadays, what do you think is really going on in my relationships? Because at the end of the day, if this is a person that you're with, I feel like it should be that easy to confine in them. You get like certain things. When I'm in a relationship where I don't know, it's always going out, it's always like surface kind of topics.
It's
never about you,
talk.
like really. Real talk, last day, in a so this is what I'm going through. You know what I mean? You can't say all that. I don't know, what's up?
I love, having that old school type of love. I call it old school because you'd have conversations where you have real talk. You sit down, like, my day was like this, I really had a hard day. I think that helps out a person when you vent out. You're able to start a new day with positive energy because you have your person that you're talking to. And most of the times I don't really see, it's very rare. Maybe I don't know how the relationship game is out there, but from what I've noticed, I've seen a lot of people not opening up. Or not, it's just like, hey, what's for the weekend?
What's for the weekend?
Or like fast, like I'm busy,
brutal fruit.
Yeah, you don't really express yourself.
Yeah, I think that's also because most people in relationships tend to go into a relationship before like building like a friendship or anything else. So it's just straight into girlfriend and boyfriend. Start, posting for the Instagram, for what, but you don't actually have a friendship where you talk, you laugh,
You even know them.
And you know them for themselves.
And also, I came to realize, the whole aspect of intimacy and people, or what the Bible says, what the good book says about people keeping themselves is a very important and cardinal element. People thought, or maybe think, it's just a way of like, God has uncreated this, and it's just a way of God stopping us, or people just talking. And in the American or in the Western world culture, it's normal for them. But I think it impacts on a person because it blinds you. And even when there's an issue for you guys to sort it out, that clouds your mind, clouds your judgment. You always fall back and you won't see it. This is why there are all these things called soul ties. It's a deep conversation. We would go into it, but it affects us so much. So I feel like she said, people should create that relationship, that friendship, before even getting to the point where you get intimate, before and intimacy of the mind, I think, is everything. Where you connect on that level.
You've got a girlfriend, boyfriend, but suppose there are certain things about you. You're like,
literally nothing. You'd even be shocked, like, eh.
I always use this example. So there's this girl I was with some time back. So, like, it got to a point where it's like, you already have the script. So like every time you talk, it's usually the same stuff. Like, how was your day? Turn, work. That's it. And then at some point, I'm gonna say fatigued. Like, you stop talking and stuff like that. And then this person goes like, no, I don't have anything to say. Like, Uma is like, And then I asked, I'm like, do you know my dream car? That's just a silly question.
A
random question. Like, do you know my dream car? She's like, no. I just laughed to myself because for me, in as much as it was a simple question, but then there's no script to this thing. Like, let's talk about you know what I mean? Like, you should know at least something like that. There's no way that you don't have anything
like
to
even
say
the
when you don't
silliest
know
thing
about
that you know about somebody.
Exactly, you should know about that. Like, she thinks of getting a Mercedes Benz, maybe
your
not
values,
a BMW,
your
because
plans,
this,
your future
exactly.
plans.
All these things, these small talks. It can't always about how's your day, Chan. Let's go out. This place is popping.
It's not all about. Life gets real.
Yeah,
and it's
it does
good to
get
have
real.
somebody that you can run to, and they'll hold you down.
Uli broke kufunika wamuza ati mwacha.
And they'll understand.
And
they should be able to understand to say, okay, he doesn't have money, because they're, especially from the female's part, they'll be demanding on a man and say, say, a man is a provider, but there are times when we've seen that and you really have to be that supportive partner and understand to say, right, I will be there for this person, not necessarily provide finances and all that, but hold the person down, understand, don't be like on their case, like, I need to do my hair, I need to do my what, and to know that this person.
It's also because I feel like social media has put it out there that if you're in a relationship, you have to, your man has to provide, he has to give you money for hair, money for nails, maintenance, what. And you don't, it doesn't actually show like you guys talking or
exactly, it doesn't
like
show
connecting anything.
It's just material.
Yeah.
Materials every time. Materials.
And I feel sometimes for guys, on the guys' part, what I've noticed is that sometimes they quickly fall in love with the outside appearance. Without even getting to know, and I've seen that where somebody just falls in love with the outside appearance and they jump into intimacy. The next thing they're in a relationship, it's 2 weeks in, now you're getting to know the real person. They even start cohabiting, and now you start to see, is this what I really want for myself? But she would have already gotten yourself entangled in a lot of things.
You find that I snore very loud.
Not even snoring, like very bad things. Attitudes, like where somebody just changes.
Trips, you're like, hey,
you're like, this is how this person gets angry.
This is me, man.
And you
ask my face, you don't know I get angry.
But again, I fall back to the essence of breaking barriers is even in relationships. There's a whole course for relationships that helps you build and modify those relationships to what you even want and to what you want to see, and to also put yourself and say, is this what I want for myself? Do I see myself with this person as a life partner? So
But before doing that course, I would recommend doing the breaking barriers so that
That's
you
the
work with
foundation.
yourself first.
Yeah.
And then you work as a couple.
Yeah.
So both of you work as individuals, then you work as a couple to build your relationship.
Yeah, I think it's important to start with yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Once you know yourself, it will be easier for you to really know someone else.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can't. That's the thing. So I think last question would be, what are some of the solutions that maybe someone that's going through mental health and all that, like, they need to take?
I'm not a professional of mental health, but the things that I can highlight is you can go to counseling hubs if we do have. I don't know if we do have counseling hubs, but we do have some people that do counseling. Somebody that you can talk to, if not going to an actual institution that does counseling, you can talk to somebody, talk to a friend that you trust, and just be able to process that day by day. Have them run you, have them keep you in check of a sort. And seek medical. If it's something it's beyond you, go to the hospital. We've got places like Chainama where people actually take medication. It's not that you're crazy or anything, but it helps you keep you in check when something is triggered, because the people who've gone through so much trauma, so much pain, that they cannot contain it anymore. And the certain forms of mental health that have to do with drugs, those you have to go to the hospital. There are certain forms like depression. There are certain forms like what do you call it again? With ADHD, I've forgotten what it's called.
ADHD.
Yes, and those are critical that you have to seek a medical personnel. But I always say, find somebody that you can trust, that will advise you, that will hold you, and you feel like they are holding you even when you're just having a conversation. Another thing is, I would encourage people to take part in the breaking barriers healing process, because it helps you. Everything starts from the mind, and once your mind is healed and whole as a person, you get to see things clearly, and where you can now start touching on how to heal yourself, and then now you can now show that love to other people, and just show everything, like pour into another person, be it your friend, your brother, your mother, your wife, your spouse. It will help you lay that foundation.
I would say what I do personally for my own mental health, even if you don't have a person to talk to, like if you haven't found that person that you can trust, you can get a journal, write letters to God about how you're feeling that day. That's what I do. I have a whole journal where I write if I'm feeling down, I write what's troubling me, and it honestly helps. It's like you're releasing all that pain and everything else, and just being you, like without being judged. It's just a book and you. So
But first, how do you handle your mental health situation? We'll back it up to you.
How do I handle mine? So that's a good question. I think for me, you watch that hand. Okay. So the thing for me is really I haven't had like a lot of figures where to like I go to most of the times when I'm going through something. So I've been mostly like an individual. So I'll just be in my own lane.
Right.
It could be, so I work out time like share to my jokes. So when I'm really stressed, like it's up there. I would just rather put on some headsets and I check jogging. That really helps.
Yeah.
And also like what she said, maybe write down certain things. So I start thinking about what I really want to do. And I just force myself to come up with ideas that will just help me get my goals straight. Yeah. So that's really
nice.
that. Then time she maybe I go to my drugs.
No, now those are what we call forced substitutes.
Yeah.
Most people would think they are sorting out the situation by taking drugs, taking alcohol, going clubbing, going to the gym. Those are forced substitutes. But you need to dig down deep to where the root cause of the situation is and say, okay, I really need help with my mental health. I really need help with this, that, to get me in a state where I can be positive, thrive, work at, and just kill it at anything that I do. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's very true. So, but then at the end of the day, I think we all need someone to talk to.
Yeah.
So once you just find yourself, and after that, really find someone to talk to. But then there's always all these other stuff like will happen. Maybe there's a story or a bro,
Yeah. And
so you need.
it's life.
At the end of the day, I think we all just need to help each other,
Yeah.
help one another. Certain things are not supposed to be taken outside.
Yeah.
Izana kambaba chef ijating. Nalikuwa kama nkaya na shokunshi. You know that song?
Yeah, I know it. I love shit.
It's a hard song, really.
Yeah.
I never paid attention to it, but the time I listened to it, I was like, okay, this is cool. You know what I mean? Like, there's certain things that you can't just go say anything about someone, really. So, yeah, there's that. I think we end here for today. We do end here, but then we would like to get some of the feedback, questions that you might have for the two ladies who are from Breaking Barriers.
And those who want to take part.
Yeah, if you want to take part, we really recommend that you come through. This will help you not in just your relationships, but almost in all your life. It could be work, your business.
Family.
You know how to handle people and yourself. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it is what it is and will always be what it will be. Let's keep it that way. It has been yours. Bro. So it's a team shooter, like I always say. Mkatambako ma videos, we have a team shooter. So it's a shoot it out. Okay, so we're going to shoot side.
Let's go.
So 1, 2, 3, go. Sinacha mu. Pamoja, kama 1, 2, 3, go.
Okay.
Shoot. 1, 2, 3, go. Yeah. Cool stuff.